Welcome to the Citizens channel, our regular match preview of a big game coming up, and it's a sort of big game, but it's a funny game, isn't it? We don't need to really do anything in this one, but of course for pride and the fact that we top this group, we're playing RB Leipzig. I think we want to get something out of it, don't we? So yeah, Tuesday the 7th of December, 5:45 p.m. kickoff. Don't forget, guys. Don't be turning the telly on at half 7. If I do know a couple of guys who've gone over to Leipzig. Actually, no, they can't get in, but they booked it, so they're going for a jolly, which is fair enough. So don't be turning your telly on at half 7 because it'll almost all be over by then. Of course, it'll be an empty, apart from officials and the select few, of course, an empty Red Bull Arena over there in Leipzig. We'll be having a look at Leipzig, how they're doing. A bit up and down at the moment. Yeah, struggling a little bit. And of course, I'll be trying to predict our starting 11, which I'll need a crystal ball for this one, guys. I mean, obviously, we've all more or less got a full squad, haven't we? Pep tells us, without Torres, of course. But yeah, obviously, a week ago, I would have said we'd play 3 or 4 youngsters, but it's not looking that way so much now, is it? I don't think. The match is being shown on BT Sport. Excuse me. And who's in charge? We've got Sandro Scherer. They got one of these little the things over the A. I don't know how you pronounce that in Switzerland, but they're all Swiss, the officials. Sandro Scherer. Assistants is Lionel Stephanie Dil Almeida, Bekim Zojaj. Fourth official is Alain Bieri, and the VAR referee is Fedi San. His assistant making the coffee is Lionel Schudi from Switzerland. So my apologies for my pronunciation, guys. You know what I'm like. Of course, we've only had the one previous meeting back in September. Yeah, 15th of September, October, November, December. Oh, nearly 3 months ago. Seems a long time, guys. 6-3, of course. Obviously, it was at Ake, and then an own goal. Then Nkunku scored the first of his 3, didn't he? Mara's put us fairly comfortable at half-time with a penalty, 3-1. And just after half-time, though, we weren't very comfortable when Nkunku made it 3-2. Grealish made it 4-2. And then Nkunku bounced back again to complete his hat-trick to make it 4-3. But obviously, Cancelo and Jesus added goals as well. So overall, an interesting game. Interesting press from Leipzig. They played very, very well that game. And obviously, it was the first game of the Champions League. So they've got to be up for it. And they probably were. They've not been so much after that. Bit up and down, although the last game they did improve, didn't they? We'll talk about that in a second. It was a good debut, Champions League debut for Grealish, of course. He's come for a bit of criticism since, a bit unfairly in my opinion, but again he's obviously a bit of hindrances. He's been injured and stuff, but yeah, he's an interesting character, interesting player, and the Leipzig press definitely upset us, put us out of our stride, to be honest with you. I mean, we only had an 85% pass completion in that game, which is one of the lowest we've got this season that I've seen looking back. I don't think I've seen any lower. I may have done and missed it, but definitely one of the lowest anyway. Please check out my odds feature on this game. A little bit of look at the teams. Obviously, I'll tell you my predicted 11 in a minute and some interesting odds. But I say I don't condone gambling anyway. And please, when the fun stops, stop. But please check out my odds feature on this Leipzig game. Yeah, the match odds themselves. City are 21-20. To win, so not bad. Odds against. A draw is 14-5. That did interest me. And Leipzig are 12-5 to win. So as I said, please check out my little odds feature. About 11 or 12 minutes and a little bit of fun on there as well. Right, what about this game then? As we know, it is a dead rubber for City. We can lose and still top the group. There's no big problem there. So it'll be interesting to see what sort of team Pep will play in this. And it is hard to predict what his approach will be. We've got players who are coming back from injury. We've got players that have sort of been on the edge, a periphery of the first team, if you like. So it's going to be an interesting mix, this one, I think. I mean, based on all the senior squad now being fit, although obviously some of the players still need time in the legs, don't they? Obviously, KDB is a standout for that. And obviously, it's just Torres that is missing at the moment. Again, obviously, as long as we came out of the Watford game, okay, I've not heard anything different when I've been looking through the channels, etc. And I thought initially a week ago, with things looking a bit dodgy, we had a fairly weak bench and we had a few niggles, didn't we? Which all sort of seem to sort themselves out. Fortunately, we'd give 2 or 3 of the kids a chance, but I think Palmer might get rewarded in this one, perhaps. But apart from that, I think he's going to say, give players time on the pitch who perhaps haven't been on the pitch too much. Leipzig themselves, yeah, I mean, obviously they've got to go for this. They want to, if they want to actually go for the Europa League. I mean, it's not everyone's cup of tea, but I think they will do. And it was a bit of a surprise last time out for them because obviously they smacked Brugge, didn't they, 5-0. That sort of came from nowhere because they hadn't been playing that well. And they've had a bit of a mixed season in the German league at the moment as well. And manager Marsch is coming under a little bit of pressure at the moment as Leipzig continue to unimpress in the Bundesliga. I mean, despite this 50+1 rule that they got, obviously the obvious investment in RB Leipzig, we're not allowed to say Red Bull, just shows how stupid the system is. They do have investment in the club, and the current position of 8th, which is what they sit as I'm recording this in the Bundesliga, is not good enough. I mean, in the last 5 seasons, there's only once they've finished outside of the top 3. So, I mean, this is a team, don't forget, that was influenced just after its creation by a certain Ralf Rangnick. Yeah, he was in the sort of connected with this club and running and director of football, etc., etc. Of course, you've had Hasenhüttl as a manager. You've had Nagelsmann, of course, who went on to bigger things in Germany. And I think that the powers that be, the owners, etc., RB guys, and the fans expect a little bit more. They've been a bit disappointing this season. But they've got some good stats in the Champions League, despite only having 4 points in total. They've got some actually good stats if you look at the stats behind it all. And I think they've got a point to prove, and I think they really will be up for this one. And it may cause City problems if we're not at our fullest and at full strength team. I don't think we will have our full strength team out for this one. I mean, they do have a couple of injuries, and they do have some problems with COVID, of course, which seems to be. This is why, obviously, this thing's been shut down and no fans, etc. So they do have players who perhaps are not 100% fit that might be coming back into the team, but they do have problems themselves. But we know from that first game, don't we? We know that first game that press that they do, which they'll play no matter who's playing, can upset our strongest team. So obviously it could do really well against, it's not being unfair to the lads who are going to turn out for City, but a relatively weaker team to what perhaps our strongest team would be with everyone 100% fit. As I said, we've got players coming back from niggling injuries and stuff, so they're not quite at it, or they won't be quite at it. But I think it will be a very, very tough game. I mean, the City 11, I'm going to go for experience in this. I'll just quote the game back in September, the 11 for that one, and then show you as a comparison what I'm thinking Pep might be thinking. As I said, Pep will do his own thing, but I'm thinking the only youngster to come into it as a reward, I think, would be Palmer, to reward him for his efforts. Otherwise, obviously, mainly first teamers who are on the periphery. And of course, KDB needs to get some minutes in the leg. So whether he'll come off the bench or he'll start the game, I'm going to go with him starting the game. But obviously, it could be feasible that he comes off the bench again. But obviously, if he starts the game, he'll be aiming to bring him off at some stage. You know what Pep's like. He'll keep that team on as long as he can, unless something drastic is happening on the pitch. So if you look back to the September game, the team that night was Ederson, Cancelo, Diaz, Ake, Zinchenko, Rodri, KDB, Bernardo, Grealish, Torres, and Mahrez. But I'm just going to put 4 of that team in here. I mean, certain players, like Bernardo, he's got to be rested, surely. I mean, and Diaz, people like that, Cancelo have got to be rested for this one. We've got a couple of big Premier League games coming up, home games. Be great to win and cement that place at the top of the league, which is where we are at the moment. We're top of the Champions League group and we're top of the Premier League. Happy days. So yeah, I think only 4 of that team will play. So my team I'm going with, I'm putting Stefan in. I think Stefan's going to be rewarded as well. I think Stefan will play. Now, obviously, right back's a funny one. I have put Walker in, but I wouldn't, if he sticks one of the younger lads in, I wouldn't be surprised. I'm sure Cancelo's going to get a rest. So I have stuck Walker in, but I wouldn't be surprised if one of the young lads comes into the thinking behind that one. And obviously, Stones and Ake can play centre half. There's no problem there. Zinchenko, again, is picked on sometimes for Champions League games anyway, so he comes in. And then obviously, Fernand's your ideal holding midfield to give Rodri a rest as well. So there you go. That's the sort of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's your sort of back 6, if you like. And then Gundogan, who's coming back, you've got to give him time. KDB, as I said, give him time and his legs. Palmer as his reward. And then Jesus and Mahrez, who have been on the periphery as such. And as long as Jesus is okay, he's not carrying any knocks after that bad foul the other day against Watford, he should be all right. So that's my 11, guys. Stefan, Walker, Stones, Aki, Zinchenko, Ferner, Gundogan, KDB, Palmer, Jesus and Mahrez. Should be good enough to win. Certainly should be good enough to get a result there, which is what we're after at the end of the day. Just a little bit of pride to play for, isn't it? We don't know if we get beat, we get beat. It doesn't really matter. But yeah, let them know what you think, guys. Anyway, let them know what your 11s are. And before we go today, obviously the little quirky stats on this one. City are unbeaten their last 14 games against German opponents in the UEFA Champions League. Won 13, drawn 1. Great record. In a run which began in November 2014 with a 3-2 win over Bayern Munich. They have won the last 9 such fixtures in a row, scoring 28 goals and only conceding 9. So that's what we want to keep that up, don't we? So this is probably why we'd be disappointing if we get beat or even draw this one. City are unbeaten their last 6 away games against German sides in the UEFA Champions League, 1-5 drawn 1, winning each of the last 4 in a row, and all since 2018-19. All 4 of those victories have come against different opponents, beating TSG 1899 Hoffenheim 2-1, FC Schalke 04 3-2, Borussia Mönchengladbach 2-0, and Borussia Dortmund 2-1. Some great names there. City 3.2 and Leipzig 2.4, both ranked within the top 4 teams. As I said about the stats of RB, they're quite good for expected goals per game in the UEFA Champions League this season, with Pep's side ranking first overall. Between the two sides, they have scored 30 goals in the competition this term. City 17 and Leipzig 13. So I say they're better than the 4 points they've got in this group. Only Chelsea have registered more press sequences, 120, than RB Leipzig, 110 in the UEFA Champions League this season. This highlights the German side high pressing approach, showing the number of sequences starting in the opposition's defensive third when they have 3 or fewer passes and the sequence ends in their own half. Christopher Nkunku has been involved in 10 sequences, resulting in open play goals for Leipzig in the UEFA Champions League this season. Only Ajax Sebastian Haller has been involved in more for his team in the competition through 5 match days. And no Manchester City player has created more chances, 11, or made more assists, 3, than João Cancelo. I don't think he'll be playing in the UEFA Champions League this season. Indeed, Cancelo has been involved in more open play sequences, resulting in shots than any other defender in the competition in 21-22, 43 times. And Leipzig's Christopher Nkunku scored a hat-trick, of course, against City earlier this season in the UEFA Champions League, becoming only the second player to do so against City in the competition after Lionel Messi in October 2016. Yeah, thanks to, I think, goal.com for most of those stats today on the quirky stats. So there you go. Hope you enjoyed that. Some interesting ones there. Yeah, I thought there's a few more than normal because I thought they were quite interesting. But as I say, we can't underestimate RB Leipzig, despite being third and only got 4 points and 3 of them were in the last game. I think they're better than what they're showing. Certainly in the Bundesliga, I think they're better than what they're showing. I think they'll improve in that, and I think if they do get through to the Europa League, I think they can sort of improve in that as well and have a good run. Please tune in for my little full match report. Of course, that'll be out. Be far too late on Tuesday evening. I think even I may get it out very late, but obviously, if you're not up late Tuesday evening, tune back in for Wednesday morning when it'll definitely be out there. As I said, I might be able to get it out late Tuesday night. Depends on circumstances. And of course, check out the forthcoming game against Wolves. Yeah, there'll be a History Boys feature. It's back to 2001. Yeah, only 20 years ago, guys. So have a look at that. The history show against Wolves, that'll be out very, very soon. An odd show, of course, on the Wolves match, but of course, a big preview of the game at the Etihad coming up this Saturday. Early kickoff, isn't it? I think, yeah, early kickoff, without looking. So check out those over the next 2 or 3 days as well. Thanks for watching. Whatever you're going to do rest day, have a great one. Look after yourselves, look after your friends, look after your families. More important, let's all look after each other. To me here again on the Citizen channel. Perhaps have a look at my film and TV channel as well. If you want a little rest from football, give us a thumbs up on there, guys, as well. Have a look at some of my reviews and information vlogs, and thumbs up's always appreciated. I always get more from my football ones than I do from my film and TV. So if you can get over, give us a watch for 3 or 4 minutes. Give us your support. That'd be wonderful. And thank you very much. But if it's not on there, if you're not really bothered about that, and you just, hopefully I'll see you back on here on the Citizen channel very, very soon. So give us your thumbs up now as well on here. That'll be absolutely brilliant. But until then, I only ask one thing. Please stay safe, Blues. Come on, City. Thanks for watching. Bye for now.